Hey, girlfriend, you know who you are. You have big, big dreams. You want to write a book, stand on a TED Talk stage, be a life coach offering wisdom from your RV in Montana, a cafe in Barcelona, or a beach chair in Tulum. Your other girlfriends and your family, they don't always get your biz savvy. Why do you want to leave your JOB? Because you're a C.A.T.S, aka coach, author, thought leader, and speaker. Meet other change makers like yourself and find out how they make it happen. This is the Big Meow podcast.
Welcome to the Big Meow podcast. I'm Angela Howard, and we are sponsored by C.A.T.S Network. And I'm here this morning with Debbie Radish-Respess. Did I say that correctly?
Well done.
Thank you. So Debbie has a business called Invisible Horizons Coaching and Consulting, and their mantra is transforming tomorrow's leaders today. So welcome, Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you. Love to be here.
Well, and we're so glad to have you here and that you take out time of your day, your busy day, to be with us. So Debbie, tell us about Invisible Horizons Coaching.
Oh, where do you start? 30-year corporate executive. I'm like a recovering executive is what I like to jokingly say. Started my business and I serve women leaders now, specifically around executive presence. I call it's the 7 C's of executive presence, and going on that journey to really enhance the leadership skills that we just don't get taught.
So that begs the question of what inspired you to go from this corporate world, I can imagine, but to take the step and say, I need to step in here. So what inspired you to start this business?
I saw a lot of what I was lacking. I didn't have a great mentor. I didn't have an executive coach. I had great colleagues, but they weren't female. So it's just, I was in a very male dominated industry and had the opportunity to, let's just say, get laid off. I was a global vice president of human resources. And I'm like, I just don't want to do this anymore. It's been 30 years and there's something different on the horizon. And I recognized a gap in most of the women that I knew. They were mainly executives, and they would talk about, I'm not really sure how to show up in a boardroom. I don't know when I should use my voice or not. And that just kind of got me thinking, there's a big gap between promotion and developing the right skill sets to be able to be a really effective leader with the promotions.
So I was an executive in the 80s myself in a Fortune 400 company. I worked for Coca-Cola. And I'm only saying this because I totally understand that I didn't have a mentor. And I was this young Southern girl out in California pounding the pavement, and 95% of my clients' second language was English. So, and the support was not there so much for me. And what I wanted to pull that out is because I love the fact that you've stepped into being a mentor for women in these leadership positions. And that's what we're all about at C.A.T.S. And so you've really hit the nail on the head of what women like us, and C.A.T.S stands for coaches, authors, thought leaders, and speakers, as you know, and we're a niche of entrepreneurs that tend to get isolated. So tell us about a recent challenge that you've gone through, that you've transcended.
Personally or with a client?
Either what affected you and your business, or something that we can relate to.
Yeah. Most of my clients are actually corporate executives. So I'm currently, let's say, getting into trying to serve the female entrepreneurs, right? But because of my background, it resonates with a lot of clients. I have a client whose business, I don't know, they've got over 2,000 employees. They acquire companies like There's No Tomorrow. Here's my cat for the C.A.T.S
Love
podcast.
It, a cat. I love it. That's fantastic.
And she's like, Deb, we're going through acquisitions like we're eating lunch. Like every day, I feel like we're going through more and more acquisitions. And her CEO was not listening, could not comprehend the amount of work that goes into it. My client's a doer. I used to be a doer, so I've learned to step into, I'm not a doer, I'm a delegator. I need to remove the roadblocks. I am the voice for the people that I lead, and I need to start doing that. And now I'm helping her do that. She had a huge win. She used one of my templates. She's in human resources, and she used one of my templates with her new CEO. And she said he absolutely loved it. He just got it. And she said he was able to just look at me and go, okay, I need to start listening to you more. So she kind of found her voice, and I live almost vicariously through my clients, because I'm like, man, I had to wade through that or walk on the bottom of the ocean with my concrete boots all the time by myself, right? I mean, because it's just such a hard way to manage through it. And when you don't know, you don't know. So although I'm a certified coach, I jokingly say I have my virtual hat rack in front of me, because I'm going to show up where the client needs me. Sometimes it's a strategic partner. Sometimes it's someone who's got to kick them in the butt to take an action. Sometimes it's being a shoulder to listen to what they're really going through, to help them through and walk with them on the journey that they're on. And that's why I do what I do. I'm passionate about it. I love it. I have seen such growth in a short period of time, because I can completely understand the challenges that they're in, whether they're human resources, operations, supply chain, finance, an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. I mean, we have similar challenges. Journey's going to be different, and I get to meet them where they are. Like that's exciting.
Yeah. You sound very versatile, which
Yeah,
I know that we have to be as coaches, like you said, to meet our client where they are. So you're talking to a bunch of coaches and speakers. Do you have a nugget of wisdom, because you've gone from this corporate world, and it's such a finite, and it's a very linguistically specific world, right? But you have made the trek, you've bridged the gap, you've gone into, now you're independent, and you're coaching, you're helping. Can you give us a little nugget of wisdom for people who may be on the other side wanting to take that leap also?
Don't be afraid to try it. I had 30 years. I had the security, and that was probably the hardest psychological change, was going from that security of a constant paycheck and responsibilities. And I was a global leader. And when I kind of put myself on the layoff list because values were no longer aligned, I'm like, all right, God's going to take me through this. Let's just see what happens. What's the absolute worst that's going to happen? I'm not going to kill somebody. I'm not going to maim somebody. And absolute worst case scenario, I can always go and get something. I know what my bottom line is. So finances is really important. I think that a lot of people take leaps and they don't really understand the financial implication of starting a business, of not having that steady income. I could tell you to the penny what my husband and I needed to live, to have a roof over our head. And we leaped in. I had great support from my husband and from my friends, from my family. My sisters were just like, wow, like I didn't think we had entrepreneurs in our family, because we're all workers. Like we're all, just old school workers. And I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna try this journey. So my advice is to just try it. And don't be afraid to take that action. If you're not going to kill or maim somebody, it's going to be okay. Even if it fails, man, you're going to learn something wonderful. I've changed my business. I started in 2018. COVID started 2020. I lost a 6-figure contract in 2020 because of COVID. You want to talk about going, oh my goodness, now what do? I didn't have anything else lined up because that was my annual workload. And I'm like, all right, let's try something else. you learn to be agile, and it's fun. It's just have fun with it. Doesn't have to be stressful.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite a journey you've taken, and going from structure to
Mhm.
unstructured. I
Yes.
think that's a leap that a lot of coaches, especially coming from the job world, the corporate executive world, it's like, well, now I'm on my own. Well, I don't have to get up. I mean, I could take that coffee till into 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And did you find yourself, is there some sort of advice to help us with structure?
Yeah. So I think the greatest thing that I can now look back and say I did was I did go through the grief cycle. July, August, and September of 2018, when I left my job, July 2nd of 2018, I had already started my business, had LLC'd and did all that, but I didn't know what to do. And now I can look back and say, I had to go through the grief cycle, from the anger and being upset and being depressed and just all of the feelings that you feel, because it is a loss. I mean, I had 30 years of corporate America. That was a part of me. I still struggle sometimes where I have to kind of cut that tie again and go, wait, I'm not corporate. I get to try something. I can sleep till 10 o'clock if I want to, right? I get to set the hours that I want to. So I wish someone would have been able to just tell me, give yourself permission to go through some of the feelings that you're going to feel. And it's going to be different for everybody. I had 30 years I always talk about my corporate armor and my professional veneer. And I had to learn how to not have to protect myself or be somebody I wasn't anymore. And I had to step into who Debbie really was. And that it was a transition. And I'm still in that transition. It's a journey. I don't like destinations. I want journeys. When I hit a destination, that just means it's a milestone, it's a pit stop, and I get to move on to the next journey. So give yourself permission for everything that's going to happen. And when it happens and you weren't expecting it, just go, okay, I wasn't seeing that, but okay, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to hit it head on. And I'm gonna come out stronger on the other side. So permission and grace, because sometimes if you're like me, you're gonna hold yourself to a standard that could be a little higher than what it should be. So sometimes you have to kind of step back and just go, I don't have to be 100%. I can be 80% and try this out. And I'm going to find that niche, and whatever that niche is. And that's kind of why I've settled on executive presence for women leaders, because that has been such a gap over the last 4 years that I've been doing my business.
Sounds like you've had cat-like responses.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, curiosity is a lot of fun when you don't have the constraints of the structure. Again, that's where that permission is. Just try it. Truly, what is the worst that can happen? If you're not going to bankrupt yourself or do something crazily stupid, but have a little fun and be curious.
Right. And that's what we like to do here at C.A.T.S. You're hitting the nail on the head big time. So how do we find you?
Debbie, you can go to LinkedIn, Debbie Radish-Respess, or I hate my website. It's invisiblehorizonscoaching.com. I'm actually, this year, I'm going to completely revamp it. I'm just to a point. I did relogo myself last year. And I
love that word.
I love my new logo, but I hate my website now. So I'm like, okay, I got to take that step now. But, or they can just email. People can email me at debbie@invisiblehorizonscoaching.com. I'm always open for quick conversations to see how I can help support other leaders in the world. So.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you for being with us today. You have a lot to offer, and you're a great cat amongst us cats.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll see you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Big Meow podcast, sponsored by C.A.T.S Network. If you liked what you heard, please take a moment to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. You can also join our network filled with positivity and possibility. Visit www.catsnetworking.com to join us and learn more. together with your magical, motivated, and mystical new friends at C.A.T.S Network. Let's transform 1 million lives with your message. Are you feeling isolated sitting at home in your PJs? Or perhaps you're tired of the comfy sweatpants with holes in them that are hidden just below the camera? I mean, you could puke at the thought of another day of Zoom meetings and reporting to your BOSS. Do you want freedom from your home office desk or the office cubicle? Do you want freedom from your current career? Or are you frustrated that your online biz dreams are going nowhere? It's all too overwhelming. Where do you start? All the tech, the choices, and your message. Yep, I said your message, your brand, your voice. What is it? Do you even know what that means? Do you need a biz coach but don't want to invest the big bucks? Let's face it, being a solopreneur is lonely, but you don't have to do it alone. And here's a solution. Join C.A.T.S Network. C.A.T.S Network is a woman-only membership community exclusively available to you, the life coach or executive coach, the author, the thought leader, or the public speaker. If you identify with this list or want to work on adding some of these to your skill set, C.A.T.S is the place for you. Check us out at www.catsnetworking.com. That's C.A.T.S networking.com. Because let's face it, cats are better together.